Underpowered Hour. On this week's show, brand new Defender 130 pickup truck, an all-new segment, special edition Land Rover of the week, a Northwest Overland Rally update, and new products for your vintage Land Rover. And now, here's the show. Welcome to the Underpowered Hour. I'm Steve Beres, mild-mannered television executive by day and Land Rover collector by night. You can find out more about our cars and what we're working on at theberescollection.com or follow us on Instagram at theberescollection. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Goss.
Thank you to everyone joining us today. I'm the scuttle vent to Steven's cabin air ionization system. I'm the faint burning smell of podcasting, Ike Goss. I own and operate Pangolin 4x4 in Springfield, Oregon, where we live and breathe Land Rovers. Check us out online on Facebook, Instagram at Pangolin 4x4. Let's get started.
All right, Ike. Well, in the news this week, you'll be glad to know, because I know you're a big fan, as I am, of Land Rovers as pickup trucks. In fact, I just bought a Land Rover pickup truck just like a couple weeks ago. I'm using it as packing material.
You
in
do?
A crate.
I also bought a Land Rover pickup truck. I'll be damned.
Yeah, there you go. I got a 300 TDI high-capacity pickup from our good friend, Vlado Stack, over there in Slovakia, because I
the
needed
Land Roverista.
The Land Roverista himself. I needed it as packing material for a crate. So I got an extra Land Rover.
Just wedged it in there.
Yep. So the other one doesn't fall out. You just put another one in behind it. That's how that works.
I'm told that is how that works. Well, that's really cool. I got a 1956 107 pickup truck for a customer who later decided that they did not want a 1956 Land Rover pickup truck. No, it's actually good. It's actually a really cool car. It's the burnt gray with blue wheels.
Oh,
so,
that's my favorite.
It's a really, really good color combination. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
I'm actually pretty excited about it. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Well, that's good, because if you're interested in adding another pickup truck to that fleet, something a little newer, our good friends at Heritage Customs, who of course you'll know for the soft top Defender, brand new Defender 90. Of course, this company, I believe Jerry McGovern is trying to have the owners assassinated, but they are customizers of the new Land Rover Defender, and they have come out with a Defender 130 crew cab pickup truck. It's pretty cool.
What?
Yeah, it's a crew cab pickup mod for the Defender 130. So like the original Defender 130 crew cab pickup, this has a pickup truck bed over the rear set of wheels, and then all four passenger doors retained. And so you're able to take the family out and get like maybe 1/3 a sheet of plywood in the back of it. Maybe. I don't exactly know where the wheel arches fall, so maybe that's optimistic. But it looks like
the back of the cab. It looks like the back of the cab is kind of even with the middle of the rear wheel, I would say.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Is that reasonable? And it has sort of it has almost like a roll bar or targa bar behind the cab, and so it kind of looks like a Chevy Avalanche.
It does look a little bit like a Chevy Avalanche. That's true.
Chevy Avalanche, and in this rendering, it has a spare tire on the top of the roof.
Yes,
which is I'm going to call it just silly.
Do you remember the film? I guess the character actors and film Kid and Play from the early 1990s.
Careful.
I feel like this car is reminiscent of the hairdo of I don't remember which one was Kid or Play, but the guy who had like a column of
I'm gonna
hair.
say it looks like a ho-ho.
It looks like a ho-ho a little bit. Yeah, it does.
Or it's I don't know if you remember like some older, I would say, model cars, they had like you could turn the spare wheel.
That's right.
Front tires.
Yeah, to turn the front tires. Yeah, you can operate this thing from above by turning the wheel on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
It's
goofy. I don't know why they've done that. That looks stupid, real stupid.
probably because the factory tire placement is on the back, right?
That's right. Yeah, there would be no way to operate that door, I imagine. It does, however, look like it is swing away. There's a handle on it as if it would swing open, again, like a Chevy Avalanche. I assume they would retain that because engineering that to be a fold down tailgate is probably a little more than they're willing to get into. They seem to just be cutting the roof off of things. They're really
Still has a
poor company.
signature panel, which I'm happy to see.
That's true. They've retained they've retained the signature panel, and they've added their own signature to that panel, it seems. They've added a little shield on there, which I assume is their logo. Would this get tariffed? I mean, I guess you buy the car here, you'd send it to them and wherever they are. I don't exactly know where they are. I assume are they in the
Well,
UK
I'm
or
assuming it's probably not a US market thing, right?
yeah, I don't know. Because you could technically you could buy this thing and it's a regular it starts its life as a regular Land Rover, and then
But
you
the VIN
could
number is probably not cleared for this.
yeah.
It's like it's like a DVD. Is it
It's region
NTSC or
locked.
PAL?
Oh, it's a
It's
PAL.
region
This is a
locked.
PAL car.
This
Yeah,
is a
it wouldn't
PAL
work.
car.
Oh, that's too bad.
And
That's
and don't try Googling Heritage Crew Cab Defender or Heritage Land Rover because there's 700 different companies that are called Heritage. There's like
oh, yeah.
Heritage Trim, Heritage 4x4. There's the Heritage Edition.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
the Heritage Coach Builders. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of Heritage.
No, just go ahead and head on over to the show notes there. We'll put this link in there for you, link to this story on Auto Evolution's website, and you can check it out. Or you can just go ahead and grab one of these for $166,000. You'll need to, of course, add a base vehicle to that. So you're
So
going to
that
go
it
ahead and
costs
you're going to need
166,000 plus that.
plus the base vehicle.
I know a guy with a Sawzall that'll make you one of these in an afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. Just give it to Ike and I, and we'll have it back to you in give or take a couple of days.
Do you remember the company Confer?
Confer.
Yeah, they were
No,
a
it sounds familiar.
popular
Yeah.
Toyota accessories,
Oh yeah. Of
from, like,
course. Yeah.
the
Yep.
'80s maybe.
Okay.
This has what appears to be a Confer roof rack on top of it.
It does. It looks like it's a shortened Land Rover roof rack, like the official Defender roof rack, that's just been like mangled to look exactly like the Confer roof rack. I agree with you. And on the white one, is the roof made of wood? It sort of looks like the roof is wood.
I don't know, I'm
Yeah,
busy
like a
looking at this
canoe.
black one, and I
Yeah.
just noticed that the Targa bar is just a shrouding over, like, a tubular
A tubular
roll
bar.
bar.
Yeah, I think they had to do that probably to maintain. Again, this is 100% a rendering. I doubt they've built one of these, but I imagine they've modeled out the safety and they have to have a roll bar back there because all of that stuff that they've cut out, Land Rover's engineered to make sure that it doesn't get squooshed in a rollover. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you think this is rollover tested after they cut the roof off?
sure. I'm sure they
Sure.
roll. Sure,
Sure
sure.
they
I
do.
mean, probably by a customer. Well, most likely. You
So,
know.
yeah, I'm waiting for the 130 single cab. That's
Yeah.
what I'm waiting.
Oh yeah, with a high cap bed, that'd be great. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, as soon as they make that one, we'll go ahead. We'll get that for the company vehicle. Speaking of company car, we may need to upgrade to an Arctic Trucks Land Rover Defender 110, a brand new Land Rover Defender 110. Of course, Arctic Trucks has been known for modifying vehicles to go all over the planet to the most extreme, harshest environments.
The
Like
Arctic
the
specifically.
the Arctic, yeah. I mean, I guess specifically the Arctic, but they go. They have trucks that go all over the place. They have, they're sort of known for their like giant balloony tires. That's sort of their specialty. They love to build these cars with giant tires, and they have cool trailers and stuff that go with them. They do a lot of pickup trucks, like they have a specific F-150 modification. They do 6-wheel builds. They do all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, they have once again brought this tech to the Land Rover Defender. They've been modifying Land Rovers for, well, I don't know how long, but they've been modifying Land Rovers forever and ever. There
Long
has
time.
been a modified Defender, an Arctic Trucks Defender for, I mean, as long as there's been a Defender, I think they've been making an Arctic Trucks version of it. And now they're building the brand new Arctic trucks Defender of the modern era. And I got to say, it looks pretty cool, actually. I sort of think,
It's
maybe this is what Land Rover should have done right from the factory.
in terms of cost, it's not even that expensive.
No.
It's £29,000.
Yeah, to upgrade the car to this Arctic Trucks, trim, yeah, to, an
Spec.
AT35. It is interesting. Each one of their cars gets this, like, serial number. I forget what the F-150 is, but, yeah, they all have these, like, serialized numbers. They get rebadged. They do all this really neat stuff with them, but it's super cool. It's like the Defender Raptor, sort of. Like, it's, kinda
I guess reading through the modification list, it's less intensive than I anticipated.
yeah.
It's a set of wheels and tires,
Mhm,
fender flares, some carpets,
mhm.
a
Carpets.
certificate of authenticity, and some mud flaps.
And some mud flaps. They don't raise the suspension at all? It's got wheels and
Uh,
tires for sure, and then it's got it does look
it
really cool.
it just says extensive re-engineering and metalwork to chassis, body, and body work.
Ah,
So I'm assuming that means they cut the wheel arches.
I think they cut the wheel arches and, it looks like they do a body lift, honestly.
I guess
If I'm
that's
looking
possible.
at it, it looks like sort of what Ralph Sarek,
Oh,
does.
yeah, it says, elevation of the suspension system.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, they're definitely,
A lift. It says a
yeah,
lift, yeah.
They're lifting it. They have the
I
tire
don't know if that's
pressure,
spacers or what it is.
yeah, spacers or whatever, yeah.
Brackets. Doesn't really say.
Doesn't. But it sure does look cool. I have to say, I'm a fan. I think that it actually is kind of an interesting. It's kind of an interesting way to modify the Defender. The new Defender. It's pretty cool actually that so many people are doing like modified versions of the new Defender. A lot of people said, "Well, that's it. You'll never see like customizations of Defenders again. All the accessories are gonna go away. Nobody's gonna do anything." But it's actually been there's a healthy amount of people doing stuff for the new Defenders.
There's always going to be some people, but it is pretty, integrated as far as into a package, with the monocoque body and suspension. That it seems like the modifications are more tame.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
reasonable to say?
for sure, for
They're
sure.
they're not as extreme. It's hard to make all of that electronic stuff work. The all the sensors and all that stuff have to work with any bumpers or
Yep.
you know any suspension that you put on it. So
It's
it is
way
definitely
more
integrated.
engineered. Yeah, you have to engineer way more in order to get to something that works as opposed to what you were able to do before by just,
To
sort of
retain
slapping
that
stuff on
functionality.
the outside of it.
And
Yeah.
then when you get all that done, you turn around and it's stolen anyway.
Yeah, it's
So
just gonna get
it's
it's
just
just gonna
gone.
get stolen. It's just gonna get stolen. That's right.
Just gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. Well, it's too bad because it's kind of cool. So yeah, if you want to, have your own custom, bespoke, if you will, Land Rover Defender Arctic Trucks edition, then yeah, call up your local Arctic Trucks as they are really all over the place, and you can have it done. Now we don't know if they're going to do it in North America or not. These are specifically the UK. This is a Top Gear article, and that article will be in the show notes, so you can check it out. But yeah, give them a call if you want an Arctic
So
Trucks Defender. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, get yours today.
yeah.
29,000 pounds for 35-inch
Or
tires and
yeah,
some fender flares and
some fender flares.
matching accessories.
Yeah, sounds pretty nice. So speaking of bespoke, you know what? We've finally broken down. I don't know why we didn't do this months ago, but
Mm.
we've come up with a whole new segment, which I think will address a big problem for us because you know what? There is an onslaught of special edition Land Rovers, and quite frankly, we just can't keep up. It's very difficult. We want to make sure that we keep you informed of the latest in Land Rover special editions, and for that we're introducing a brand new segment that we're calling This Week in Special Edition Land Rovers. So, Ike, what is this week's special edition Land Rover?
Well, this week's a doozy, because there are 5
Ooh,
special edition Land Rovers that are being launched on the Range Rover Sport SV platform.
okay, yeah, that's brand new.
Yeah,
That's a
and,
cool looking platform.
I don't know if you're familiar with these or have read about them. These are called the Celestial Collection.
Whoa.
Celestial. Yeah. So these are inspired by ancient mythology and the cosmos, according to Range Rover Sport
Just generally
SV
speaking, the cosmos?
spokespeople.
Oh, okay, alright.
I think that they have specific elements of the cosmos
Mm.
in mind,
Mhm.
and in this case, they're what they're calling sophisticated and harmonious curations are called Gaia,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thea, Io, Vega, and Soul. So,
Okay, holy shit.
there you go. There you go.
Wow.
Those are the 5 different, they're calling them curations, but they're
I see,
the
yeah.
special editions
Uh-huh.
of the Range Rover SV.
And what
And
kind of,
so,
things can you expect in these, mythol ancient mythology-based edition Range Rovers?
well, that's where it gets really interesting. These are supposed to connect their owners
Mm.
spiritually with their vehicles, according to this press release. So, the idea of mystery and intrigue from
Uh-huh.
the celestial sky was
Okay.
key in the design. The symbolism you can find throughout the collection draws a deeper meaning. These stories have been carefully considered to reflect the exemplary tastes of our clients.
Hmm.
What do you think of that?
Well, it is interesting. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what's going on there in the old Gaydon Design Center. I know that a large cannabis grow operation has moved in just adjacent to the design center there, just outside of Birmingham, and may have something to do with the Celestial Edition cars. I'm not sure. It might be a coincidence, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's what is it? It says astrology. Astrology is the one where you do your horoscope. Is that what it is?
That is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
this seems to have some elements of those kinds of things.
Mm.
I was just reading up on my mythology because I,
Yeah.
wasn't.
We're
I
interested in
couldn't.
maybe purchasing a Range Rover.
I was
Yeah.
interested in purchasing a
Yeah.
Range Rover, and
Yeah.
and
So
so
naturally you would. Yeah.
I'm reading about IO.
Yeah.
IO is one of the special edition
Yeah. Of
Range
course.
Rovers,
Naturally. Yeah.
and I was reading about Io because I had kind of forgotten my Greek mythology. Io was a priestess of the goddess Hera in
Uh huh.
Argos, whose
Uh-huh.
cult her father Inachus was supposed to have introduced to Argos. Zeus noticed Io, a mortal woman, and lusted after her. In the version of the myth told in Prometheus Bound, she initially rejected Zeus's advances until her father threw her out of her house on the advice of the oracles. According to some stories, Zeus then turned Io into a heifer in order to hide him from his wife. Others maintain that Hera herself transformed Io. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think
That
I
makes
think
perfect sense, right?
I
That
think Zeus ends up having sex with the
with a cow.
Io as a cow.
Uh huh.
So, if you would like a vehicle that embodies that myth,
Ah,
go on down to your Land Rover dealer today and get your IO edition Range Rover Sport
perfectly
SV.
executed. Yeah, perfectly executed brand alignment there. Yeah, it's interesting. So besides besides Greek mythology, what makes this special edition special over your standard
I
sort
I'm
of
gonna
Range Rover
let
Sport?
I'm gonna let the folks at JLR answer
Oh, okay.
that.
Perfect. Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that you're referring to the Vega Curation
Oh, sure. Yeah.
edition.
Yeah. Give me some info on the Vega curation.
If that's an exceptionally bright star from the Lyra constellation with a
Okay.
lot of blue in its spectrum,
Okay.
inspiring the exterior blue gloss color, which was uniquely developed from a reference of the star itself. Its name Vega, altered from the Arabic, I'm not even going to try to
Holy
pronounce
shit.
that,
Yeah. Allah Allah walla.
l-
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what.
literally
Yeah.
the descending eagle,
Oh,
is denoted on the vehicle with its downward wing-like symbol.
wait,
It's
does it have like a Firebird painted on the hood?
I don't think it's quite that extreme,
Oh,
but
darn it.
that we could only hope.
That's too bad.
Its exterior color, Vernier blue, is a tribute. Verrier blue is a
Mm.
tribute to French astronomer Urban Le Verrier, who mathematically predicted the location of Neptune.
Uh,
This is pretty intense.
got a lot going on here.
There's a
This
lot
paint
going on
color
here.
is we're still in the paint.
I'm not done yet. I'm not
Okay.
done yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't forget the eagle badge.
Oh, and the Eagle badge. Yeah, that's right. It's got a Firebird on
The
the hood. Mm.
exterior features an exposed carbon fiber twill gloss concept bonnet with the same finish across the script badging, tailpipes, and 23-inch wheels, which also feature nano yellow carbon fiber ceramic brake calipers.
Oh, yeah. That's sure.
The interior is available with light ebony and per,
Perlino.
excuse me, Perlino leather seats featuring the symbol on the headrest, complemented by natural cream ash burr finisher on the cup holders, in addition to ebony Cavrat steel cut backboards on the seats.
Wow.
Wow. What a tongue twister that description
Wow.
is. That's
Wow. So much
so
for
you get
reduction, for reductionism, huh? We're really
there's a
throwing
lot.
all kinds of shit at this thing.
There's a
Wow.
lot. We got a reference to a French astronomer. We got
You
an
got yeah.
Arabic eagle reference. We got
You got ash
so
burr. You got cream ash burr in there. Wow.
so
It's got everything you
yeah,
need. Yeah.
it's got
Yeah.
everything you need.
Carbon
You've got
fiber twill
everything you need.
gloss. You got everything. Wow.
There's a lot.
There
There's
is
a
a
lot.
lot. I'll tell you what, when you are attempting to create essentially special edition vehicle for every single human being on the planet, you're going to get to a point where stuff's going to get pretty strange. I mean, it's going to happen. They've come out with, no less than 6,000 different special edition Land Rovers just this year, and it is only June. So, we're going to eventually get into some weird shit. It's bound to happen. 1,000
The-
monkeys on 1,000 typewriters. Eventually, you get a Range Rover Sport called, you know, Soul Curation. Why not?
That was just one
It's
of
just
the
one of six.
special
Yes,
editions.
that was
Yeah.
6 special editions. Yeah, if you want to read for yourself the special editions, the link to Land Rover, their official website, their official media website, is in the show notes. It's not an April Fool's Day joke, although it would be an incredible one. Somebody would have put in way too much time if that was the case. But yeah, it's a blue Range Rover. So
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And if you desire spirituality, symbolism,
yes,
and storytelling
Yep.
in your vehicle,
Mhm.
this is for you.
Yeah, and burl ash cup holders. Then
It
there you
it
go.
also is a transcendent theme that crosses
Yes.
boundaries, fascinating and uniting people globally.
It crosses boundaries. Listen, it's transcendent of boundaries. All right, it doesn't. It's very. That sounds like something that like Matt Lauer would say. I don't think you want. Listen. I'm above boundaries. All right.
Ooh,
It's
brutal.
transcendent.
Brutal
Transcendent
reference
of
there.
boundaries. Yeah.
Brutal reference. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd drive one.
Well, I know you're big into astrology,
Yeah.
and you love Land Rovers, so perfect. It's a perfect match. It's like this car was made for you.
You know what I love about astrology? You can just make it up as you go along.
Yeah, you just did. There's no rules.
There's no
It's
rules.
like kind of free. It's a free range poetry.
Astrology is really interesting because like they sort of calculated the astrological symbols and what dates those were
Yeah.
attached to.
Yeah,
And so they were like, "Oh yeah, all that stuff for
Yeah.
the last like 100 years,
totally. Wrong.
ignore all that. You are actually a different astrological
Yeah.
symbol now."
Yeah, of course, makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, total
Yeah,
sense.
makes total sense.
No, it's perfect. Perfect science.
That's great.
Perfect science. So,
So,
speaking of
Get
perfect
yourself
science, yeah,
a Celestial Edition Range Rover Sport SV.
head on over there. Yeah, to the old JLR, your local Land Rover dealer, and pick one up. Maybe the EO, maybe the IO, maybe the EIO. I don't know, whatever. Whatever you're into. Whatever you are into. Speaking of taking trips in your Land Rovers, you took a trip very recently, somewhat
I did.
against your own will, to the Northwest
Yes.
Overland Rally with
I was
Jenna.
bound.
Yeah,
Yes, that's true.
yeah. You were black
I was
bagged and
I
thrown
was
into the back of the
shanghaied.
van. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. I was shanghaied. We packed up the old the cow, the 80-inch Land Rover, and we took it up to the Northwest Overland Rally to see Ray Highland and the Fam Damily.
Mhm.
There, they put on a good show up there at the Northwest Overland Rally. They got demonstrations and classes, how to tie knots and recover
Mhm.
your vehicle and filter water and navigate and all that sort of stuff. They had a little something for everyone. Then they put on a big raffle, right?
Yeah.
Put on a big raffle. They give away prizes from their sponsors, and it's just all around a good time. It was up near Leavenworth, Washington, in a place called Plain, Washington.
Mhm.
And Leavenworth is sort of a how do I want to say this?
But is
They've
Plain is
styled it after an
Plain is just to the left of
yes, it's just to the left.
it's just to the left of all dressed or like spicy Washington, or
What?
like everything Washington.
No,
No.
no.
Hmm.
So Leavenworth, Washington,
Yeah.
is styled after a alpine village.
Oh, right, that's right. You've told me that
So
before.
it's
Yeah.
it's got kind of
Like
a Bavarian flavor to it. If you want a pretzel or a schnitzel or
Oh,
some. They actually had like an accordion world championships or something going on there while we were there.
that's there's always an accordion championship going on there. It's
I
like,
don't know if you know this. The
mhm,
average age of an accordion player
mhm,
today
mhm.
is 96.
That makes sense. There was only ever it
96.
was only ever popular once.
It's only ever popular ones. My aunt used to play the
Is that
accordion,
true?
I'm told.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know if she
Maybe
does anymore. We should have her on the
you
show.
should get in there and yeah, have her on the show.
Learn how to play the accordion. So if you like the sound of accordion, go
And who
on
doesn't?
down to
Who
the
doesn't?
Northwest Overland Rally. No, it was quite good. They put on a big raffle. One of the things I like about their raffle is if they draw your ticket
Mhm.
and you don't respond in like 10 seconds, they fucking they burn your ticket and you lose. So if you're
That's
not paying
nice.
attention,
Yeah.
they just add the next prize to that prize. So the pot keeps getting bigger. So what ends up
Whoa.
happening is if your ticket isn't called, there's a chorus of burn it, burn
Oh, yeah.
immediately burn the ticket so that the prize gets bigger and somebody
Right.
else has a chance.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah,
That's a
they're
fun way to do
savages.
it. Yeah,
Just
man, that's a
savage.
sort of
It's a
Mad
savage.
Max kinda way to yeah, wow, Lord of the
It's
Flies up
like a
type.
Thunderdome situation.
Yeah, Jesus.
And
Wow, that's
they're
great, yeah.
they're giving away like whiskey and knives and all this stuff,
Hmm.
and like 8-year-old will win and they'll be like, how old are you? And they're like 8, and they're like, here's some knives and whiskey, go have fun.
The Pacific
Yeah,
Northwest,
it's a
no
wild place.
rules. No rules,
And
yeah.
those are Canadians that are coming down doing that.
Yeah, yeah,
they're
that's
not
right.
they're
That
not
makes sense.
they're not sending their best, if you know
Invasive
what
species, yeah, that's what they, well, that's why they wanna close that border, you know?
I mean. When I close that, build the wall
Murderers.
between
Yeah,
Canada.
build that wall, murderers, yeah, that's
No,
yeah,
just
the
it
cartels.
was a good event and good time if you are in that area or not. Check it out. The featured speaker this year was a lady, and I'm gonna mispronounce her name, so I'm not gonna try. But you can look it up. She is part of a team that
Mhm.
crossed the Darien Gap in a
Oh.
CJ5 Jeep.
Oh, cool.
And
Wow.
so she gave a big speech about how she did the Darien Gap crossing, which was only actually a small part of their trip. They did sort of, I think, south to north through the Americas, and then they
Yeah,
did south. I guess I'd be the other way around, north to south through the Americas, and then south to north through Africa and Europe.
yeah.
So, like from the tip of Africa to like the furthest point north in Norway, I want to say.
Hmm.
So she had
Did
a
they
lot to
just
talk
take the
about.
Jeep apart and carry all the parts through the Darien Gap, then put it back together on the other side?
Essentially,
Yeah.
I think 90% of the trip was breaking axles in the Jeep and waiting for replacements. So
Right.
that was most of the journey was doing
Mhm.
that. But
Mhm.
she had the car there, and her late husband, I guess, did a lot of this trip, and that was his third attempt. He had tried it once before to an F-150, F-250 Ford, and then a CJ7,
Mm.
and then they actually did the whole trip in a CJ5. The CJ7 trip ended when he was approached by some South American official. I don't know whether it was a park ranger or who it was, that wanted a bribe, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not going to bribe you." That guy was like, "Okay." He was like winching to a tree or something, and I guess he had to. I don't know whether he got arrested or deported or
Oh,
something
no.
happened. Something happened, and he had to leave the Jeep with the winch attached to the tree, and maybe it's still there. I don't know,
Ah,
but she had some fun stories, like rafting down the Nile and just all this crazy stuff. It was neat. It was cool to hear her talk about that, and she also went to, I believe, the Overland Expo,
mhm.
which was this past
Yep,
weekend. So
yep.
she's making the circuit there.
Doing the circuit, yeah.
She's making an effort to write a book about her trips.
Mhm.
And yeah, so support her. She's a cool lady. Check it out. She's got the Guinness Book of World Record for the like longest overland crossing, or the first entirely overland crossing of the Darien Gap, something like that. So yeah, she's got a red CJ5. Check her out, support her, check out her story. She's cool.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a neat event. I wish I, could get out to more, Pacific Northwestern Land Rover events. They sound or just overland events in general. Sound really cool.
Yeah, you should just move up here.
Ah, you're right. I should just, get a winter home up there where there's actually
Winter
winter.
home, just a year-round home. It's
Yeah,
great.
you're right. Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of year round, it's summer again in most of the country.
Yeah.
And that's when people finally take the tarps off their Land Rovers and open up the garages or wherever they've been stored. Of course, not for us here in California. We're still putting off all those things we said we were going to do next weekend. But for a lot of folks, it's time to get to that classic Land Rover maintenance. And for that, there's some new parts for your classic Land Rover coming out, and maybe some things that need some upkeep that you could use some new parts for. So what's new there in classic Land Rover Partland?
Well, we have been working on reproducing the Series 3 North American spec 4-inch amber lenses for
Mm.
all late 2As and Series 3s, I should say.
Hmm.
Trucks made from 1968 through 1974 here in the US used a larger 4-inch amber lamp, Lucas 833. And those have been unavailable since the last time we made them, which was a couple years ago. And unfortunately, the fellow that had been making our lenses, he retired
Mm-hmm.
from life. He died.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
In
So
a lens
that was.
making lens making accident? Do we know how it happened? Was it a
I hope not. I
yeah?
hope not.
Mm-hmm.
He was a nice guy. And then we had a few false starts. There was a few companies that said, yes, we can make your lens.
Yeah.
But really, I think they just wanted a sample lens for themselves because they never produced any lenses for us.
Ah, I see.
And so finally, we've got a batch that are made, and we'll have those up on the website
Ah,
shortly. But
fantastic. Yeah, I know lots of
yeah,
people that
those are
are
one of those things.
yeah,
They're always bad,
they're always
they're because
bad.
they're old. They're old.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah,
plastic lens that's
yep,
50 years old, 60 years old in some
yep.
cases. It's get a little sun damaged, a little cracked.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
we'll have those up very soon.
Yeah, and I gotta say, you change out the lights on, even a car with paint that's not good, and it really sets it off because those white, they get really white and ashy and terrible looking, and it really looks bad, because it's plastic. Anything that looks plastic just looks bad when it gets old. Metal
Yeah,
stuff, painted stuff, just looks cooler, but plastic stuff just looks terrible. It just looks so bad. So it's
doesn't
interesting,
look
yeah.
great.
Yeah, you throw some
Yeah,
new lenses on there, it looks real good. Looks real nice.
and your turn signals will be maybe visible,
Maybe a little slightly more visible,
slightly more visible.
yeah, slightly more visible, and yeah, that's a nice thing to do though. Throw some new, if it's the glass ones, if it's the plastic indicators, if they're real, if they're real worn out. It's a relatively inexpensive thing to get. Makes it look real nice, and it's functional. One could say it is for safety.
It'll
as much
save your life.
yeah, sure. Sure it will. Yeah. Yeah, definitely do that. So, well, on that, we'll let everybody get back out there and your shitty old Land Rovers working marginally better. We'll go and do the same. So we'll head on over to the old YouTube as always and check out some of the videos. You got to, if you haven't watched the Bob Steele and Bruce Fowler driving the cow around the off-road track at the Past Anarch event in Washington, you really must, because those guys, I love them to death. Man, they're adorable.
The Statler and Waldorf of Land Rover enthusiasts, right
They
there.
sure are. And they didn't kill John Costage. He took one for the team and sat in the back with no restraints at all. Although honestly, I think he's better off with no restraints. You want to be thrown free in the event of an accident in that thing. You don't want to be strapped to it when it starts on fire. So I think he made the right choice there. But no, it was great. It was a fun event, and those guys did great. So check those out. More video content coming soon. We're working on it. It's been a busy couple of months around here, but we're gonna get back on things here in the workshop. Gonna be back. We shot a ton of stuff with Ike up north, and starting to get that stuff on as well. So yeah, please do head on over to the YouTube channel and check that out. If you like it, maybe tell a friend, and if you don't like it, keep that shit to yourself.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. All right. Yeah. All right. And on that, Ike, we'll see you next week.
All right. See you on the trail, Steven. Take care.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Beres, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Beres. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.